Well, I came to New York in 1972 after graduate school in New Haven, and it was a kind of tricky time in a way because it was dominated by Greenbergian formalism, really. I mean, that was the dominant mode. Greenberg sort of dominated everything. It was a good time because in the 70s, in the early 70s, people were really talking about art much more than money or career. So you had a kind of camaraderie, a kind of common ground among artists that I miss today. I definitely feel that the dust settles in a sense and you become very, very clear about what's essential and what isn't. And gradually that leads into a specific direction in which the path becomes much clearer for you, much more open. And I think that's the one great virtue of staying with something in spite of the fact that you may go through some very, very difficult winters, I mean, and that happened. That's happened. It'll happen again. You hang it up, you have somebody come and they look at it. You have a show, you have a body of work, and you present your ideas developed in a particular direction and hope that other people will respond enough to understand what you're asking for in your art. I think it was Walter Pater that said, "All art aspires to the condition of music." And I like that quote very much. Specifically being that I want my work to come out of me the way in which, great musicians' music comes out of them. I mean, there has to be a natural flow there, so it's a very, very obvious analogy that, he made when he made that statement. It sort of says to me something that I like, and it really resonates in the way I want to make art. It was John Ruskin who said there was no great artist that did not push his gift to a point of failure.
Have you done that?
Oh, many times. I mean, many times. That's the whole idea. One of the problems I have with so much of art that's eminently successful is that the artists don't do that. They stop there, and then they just get into a production mode. Where our dreams meet is in art. I mean, that's the place where we share our, imagination. And hopefully your work is the tangible realization of your deepest level of imagination. In a sense, you make paintings as evidence. Your paintings are, in a sense, evidence for what you see. They're the tangible evidence that you give other people that you see this. This is like, okay, I mean, you can talk about painting, you can fantasize paintings all you want until you make them. It's like, it's not going to be real for anybody. So the hands-on aspect of making a painting for me has always been wrapped up with the materialization of an idea that you saw. But until it's done, nobody's going to know, including yourself, that you actually could, could achieve it. Oscar Wilde said art is useless. And we're making an object, I think, that has no utility, essentially. I mean...
You don't really believe that?
Well, no, I do believe that. I mean, it won't clean your white walls. It doesn't wash the dishes. It doesn't get you to work. It is, I mean, if you sell it, yes, you can make some money and buy things that will do all of that. But specifically, I'm making something that just hangs on the wall to look at, which I hope will give people some sense of visual enlightenment or awareness. That's about it. That's about it. Other than that...
But that's a big...
It's a big thing. Well, again, Victor Hugo said the beautiful is more useful than the useful. Well, hopefully, if you pay attention and you're alert, eventually you start making progress. Just like playing an instrument, if you play it enough and practice enough, you get better. You get sort of better, and it kind of works that way. You know, very ambiguous kind of analogy. It works that way, or at least I have felt it has certainly worked that way for me. So I'm feeling better and better about, first of all, the opportunity, the possibilities, the expansive possibilities of what I can do with this material, paint. And secondly, that what I'm doing is more informed because it's based on, a lot of time spent, for just constantly looking and making. I think there's a lot in the journey that I'm very interested in. And in those 34 years at this point that I spent in New York, I've learned a lot just from that. I consider myself essentially an empiricist. So you learn, knowledge gained from experience. Well, there was a point at which it became really clear to me that if I was going to continue to do this, in spite of all the odds, I had to have self-belief bordering on fanaticism.